we have any volunteers to read this lovely email that Margie wrote today and sent out today? Um, Shri, would you like to read, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
Should I read the whole thing?
Yes, please.
Okay. Jay Baba, sorry for the late email this week. I thought for some reason I had sent it out earlier. I thought it would be nice to allow for a more open share rather than a discussion of a certain topic. I welcome everyone to share their Baba dreams or lack thereof. Baba said quite a few things about dreams, and I personally think it's a beautiful way that Baba shows us he is nearer than we could ever realize. Eric's quote on dreams. The Ancient One comes into our midst time and time again to point out that this is all a dream. We see dreams in our sleep and call them sleep dreams. The illusory life that we lead while awake is a vacant dream. The Ancient comes to us in this and tells us that it is a vacant dream. Even all of this is a dreaming too, yet this dream has significance because in this vacant dream, Baba makes us aware of our dreaming. Likewise, when one sees Baba in one's sleep dream, it is significant because even though we are asleep and dreaming, we have the semblance of reality, and hence, his appearing in our dream has significance. This is what I have gathered from Baba. Hope this inspires a beautiful chat tonight. Jai Baba.
Jay Baba. Thank you, Shri. Appreciate it. Um, does anyone have anything to share from that? Does anyone had previous Baba dreams they want to share? Um, any dreams that might not even be directly of Baba, but maybe that you thought of Baba or whatnot, or something maybe that came true or whatnot, or that happened after a dream. Open it up to anyone. Marion, you look like you have something you wanted to share. Did you? Good evening. Ooh, Josh is okay. I see Josh. He's waving. Josh, you're waving, and you want to share. Okay. Yes. Good evening, Josh.
Hey, this is so funny because at some stage I was actually thinking of running this exact workshop as well with people. So like literally in the past week I was thinking, oh, I should run a workshop with people about Baba in dreams. And then it's happening. Wow. It's pretty wild. Okay. So like yeah, this interesting study of what Baba said about dreams. Sometimes he'd say like, oh yes, that's me in the dream, but then sometimes he'd say, oh no, that wasn't me in the dream. So I don't believe that someone having Baba in their dream necessarily qualifies that to be like a direct expression of Baba. So I just want to preface this first, but I have had several Baba dreams, and I think they are very interesting and weird. I always get very weird dreams. So I'll start with the most recent one, which is really funny. I actually received an order from Baba in a dream recently, and this order was it was something like it is the universe's something. I wrote it down a while ago, but it's like something like it is your divine destiny, Josh, to not have a mustache, which I think is so hilarious and hypocritical coming from Baba that he'd give me this order to basically just shave my mustache. Um, Considering he is like the mustache man, it's almost like he was jealous. And yeah, and so I'm like, wow, like I've had that dream. I'm like, does that mean for the rest of my life I've just got to be really prompt with shaving? Like, is that what I'm going to have to do now? And I guess the answer is I'm going to strive to do it. Even though there's quite a big like potentiality that it wasn't Barbie, it was just my unconscious or whatever. I think to hedge my bets, I'm gonna like behave that it was sort of like a barber order, and it's definitely not a difficult one. It's not like Barber told me to give up my worldly possessions and go live in the Himalayas. So I think it's definitely good. But I really am interested in what other people have talked about this. I have had several other ones. Another interesting one was Barber giving me the advice. I guess it is an instruction again, but it was and I want to hear what people think about this, but the advice was, he was saying, don't help other people. Like literally don't, like do not help other people, which given my nature, like I really like helping other people, given my nature is really actually very difficult. And then it's also very complex because Baba in general was saying, help other people, help other people. So I have this choice to honor the book Baba or my dream Baba, and either one might not necessarily be what Baba wants. So yeah. But yeah, anyway, I have heaps more. So I'm now going to open the floor to other people to respond and talk. And if no one else has stuff, then I'll just keep on talking for yonks about this because I have so many Baba dreams.
Thank you, J Baba. Does anyone else want to share? Tony, Tina, Jeff, you look like you want to share. Did you have anything you wanted to say,
I
Jeff?
don't have Baba dreams, Peter.
No. Do you have dreams that like you can relate to Baba in them? I mean, they don't necessarily have to be like
The last
Baba
dream I
direct.
had, I was trying to stuff a half gallon of Tropicana orange juice up my nose.
Huh. Well,
I don't know what it meant.
and I think I also like because so here's what I'm feeling as well. Since Baba isn't everyone and everything, really any dream can be a Baba dream. I mean, of course, direct from Baba is or like one was Manjali is, of course, maybe a little more special, but really, I mean, everyone's Baba. Everything is Baba. So really, any dream is important. I mean, I haven't had a dream. I don't think in a long time.
Also,
Um,
Tina, I don't know if this is too personal for me to share, but I know that you had an experience with Baba where it was, that thing that it was
Life
like
after
the,
life. When he came to me when I was dead.
yeah, I hope I wasn't overstepping by sharing that you'd had
Oh
that, but I'd love
no,
to hear more
it's
about it.
not. It's not bad at all. I'm happy to share that, but it's not a dream.
Yeah, it's even more real. It's like a real thing. I'd love if you to share, but no worries if you don't want.
Yeah, well, I had this radiator that it was cold in my apartment, and it was so I decided to put a new radiator in, and I didn't know that they coat them with Rust-Oleum paint. So when they turned on the heat, these noxious fumes filled my apartment, and I could not breathe. It wasn't bothering anybody else, but it was bothering me extremely. And I couldn't sleep in my bedroom where the new radiator was. And then I had to move into the living room. Then I had to go to the Y and take a room there. And then I still couldn't breathe because my lungs were filled up with noxious fumes. It was like being in a smelting furnace. And so I got to the Y and I realized I couldn't breathe. And so I got in a taxi and I took a cab to the hospital emergency room, and I died on the operating table. And I saw Baba in a long white sadra, and he said, "You're not on the list." And he pushed me, he had a scroll, and he pushed me through the tunnel, and I was then back in my body, and I was back on the table in the operating room, breathing oxygen. But that was a horrible experience because I could not live in that apartment for 2 years. And I rented it to, I thought I'm going to have to sell it. And so I rented it to a guy who, he had some drug and alcohol problems, but he always paid. He had $100,000 in the bank, and I don't know what his circumstances were, but anyway, one day he came, he said, I've been reading this book by this guy, this spiritual guy, and And the thing was that I did not have any books by Baba except one book that was on the top shelf of this floor to ceiling bookcase. He got up there, got that book, read it, and he said it helped him. And soon after that, he got a job. He got his life together, and he moved out, and I moved back in, and it was still bothering me because it penetrates this. These fumes penetrate the furniture and they off gas, and so I was going to have to move out again. And so then I was going to sublet my apartment to this friend of mine. And the day before she was supposed to move in, she called me and said she couldn't do it for some reason. And that was the last time I ever smelled the smell. So Baba released me from that one, but it was a horrible experience. But I was thinking, like, Baba, why did you have to go through such trouble to reach this guy? And it put me through so much hell to reach this person. And, you know, I was in this Broadway show at the time, and I came out of this store, and I saw on the sidewalk someone had carved in the cement, Baba. And another time I had a scene in the play where I knelt down and lit some votive candles, and Baba's face would appear in a pattern on the wall. And I thought it was my imagination until one day this other actor came up to me and said, "Who's that guy on the wall? Do you see that face?" Yeah. So I don't know what it was all about, but I'm just glad it's over. Thanks for reminding me of that, Josh.
Sorry if that was a traumatic reminder.
Yes. Yeah. Well, no, it wasn't. I mean, it's all okay now.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tina. Thank you, Josh. Is
Yes.
anyone else?
Yes. Thank you for sharing that again, Tina. I know I've heard this, Marianne, I've heard that, but it was really enlightening to hear it again, and just to deepen my trust and my faith that whatever we're being dragged through, it is all for Baba. It's all for the good. It's hard to connect with that when it's so dramatically so scary. Yes. So thank you.
Yeah. Well, he kept me around for some more time. And he really wanted to get that guy. And you know what possessed that guy to climb on a ladder up to the top shelf of that bookcase and find the one Baba book I had? I don't know. Something like a magnet must have drawn him to it.
Baba's destiny.
Yes. And Marta,
Destiny.
Marta, you have your hand up. Go for
I
it.
do. I have a dream that I've been waiting to share for a long time. And since it's a small group, I have a captive audience. This is a 3-part dream. After I had this dream, when I woke up, one of the things we ask with dreams, what did you feel when you woke up? I felt I can die now. I can die now. So the dream, the first part of the dream, it looks like a Guru Prasad kind of situation where there's a big hallway into the main hall, and all these people and myself were in this hallway. We're waiting for Baba, and the door's closed to where he is. And Jal, his brother, comes running really fast with his big white silk pillow. And he's running, and I go, "Jal, where are you going?" He says, "Oh, I have to hurry. We need to put this under Baba's feet." And he takes off. That's the first part of the dream. The second part of the dream is I'm inside the hall with hundreds of people, and I'm way behind and small, and all these people are taller. And I keep going like this, trying to look to see what is everybody looking at. I want to see Baba. Is that Baba? And everybody's like just trying to see whatever is happening. And I pushing myself up on people's shoulders, trying to go, oh, it's Baba, it's Baba. Everybody goes, Baba's here, Baba's here. And then the third part of the dream is I'm in the hall with Baba, and Baba is sitting at some kind of a desk or table. And all these hundreds of people around, but I'm right next to him, sitting on like the floor or sitting on something next to him. And he's a little bit higher. And he's touching people's mala beads and touching people's pictures like that. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I don't have anything to give Baba to touch. Oh my God, I can't believe this, because I didn't have a purse or a paper or anything. Oh my God, what can I give Baba? And I have this ring that's really special to me that Randy made me with Mastering Servitude tooled on it. I thought, oh, I have this ring. And I start to take it off. And Baba stops and he looks at me. And internally he says, I don't have to touch that. He says, I've touched you and you're mine. And that was it. And I just like, oh my God. I woke up. I said, oh my God, what a dream. So when I die, you guys will know that I've lived my life because of that dream that Baba dictated. Also, I wanted to also say something that I remember because of dream work for so many years. Mara said that if Baba is in your dream, that it is a visitation from Baba. And I'm going to believe that. So I just wanted to add that. Have you heard that, Josh? Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Thanks,
I have.
guys.
Yeah, and I definitely think that that was Baba in your dream. It's just, just in case down the line we have people saying, Baba told me to do this in my dream, and Baba told me to
Oh,
do that.
like that.
Yeah.
Oh, no, when
Yeah, yeah.
Baba appears in your dream, yeah. That's what she said, when Baba actually physically appears in your dream. Or that's what I understood anyway. Anyway, thanks, guys.
Thank you, Marta. Beautiful.
You're welcome, Peter.
Um, Jeff, have you had any Baba dreams or any dreams in particular that you thought of Baba or they're Baba-esque? You're on mute.
Well, I have not had a dream of Baba since the 70s. And you think I would be dreaming of Baba if I had a hot dog at a hot dog stand this evening tonight, I would have a dream about a hot dog stand. I mean, in other words, Baba's everywhere here, and photographs, and people are saying Jay Baba and everything, the movies, and I just do not have a Baba dream. But I do get dreams in which the mandali come, and they are very real. They're not like dreams, they're just real. I can maybe tell you one of those. Let's see, I'm trying to think. Wow. I had one. I was one of my religion in childhood was baseball. I was really into baseball. I mean, I had magnificent times out there on the field. And then years later I got into Baba, and I look out there. I'm as a kid, and I'm back playing baseball. And who's on the pitcher's mound but Baba? And I'm up there taking batting practice, and I'm thinking, this isn't really fair. I shouldn't be the one. I shouldn't be the one that gets to hit the ball with him. I mean, all the other players. But I just kind of went with it. But there, Baba kind of took the form of something that was very dear in my life. Playing a Baba as a pitcher. And there was, and I got a number of them, but I
Jeff, did you have a dream with Mara and Baba? Or was that more of a vision or something?
that was also, well, okay, you dragged that out of me. Um, this past fall, I have this vision or dream vision in which I'm I'm in I'm about 15 feet away and Mara's over on a bench and she has on her lap she has some like a photo album and she's very excited about this album and so she motions me to come over. So I come over and come around in front of the bench and the bench is like so small. There's only this much room between me and her, you know. And and men were not supposed to touch Mara, and Mara's just very casual, and she's showing me these things, and I'm only half aware of the book that she's showing, that she's enthusiastically showing me, and the other time I'm trying to avoid hitting her, and it goes on like for about 45 minutes, and eventually she taps me on the shoulder. I actually feel it, you know, like, hey, look at this.
Oh.
And I'm thinking, oh my God, I've touched Mara, Baba, you know, I'm not supposed to touch her. And, you know, and I'm kind of worried about it. And then I think, well, no, she touched me.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't feel so bad about it. But so anyway, so she continues, you know, showing me all these things and excited, and you know, she every once in a while moves her arm over and I have to back off and everything. But anyway, eventually she reaches over and touches me on my heart, taps me on my heart, and I wake up.
Oh.
And I'm thinking, wow, what was that? That was like real. I mean, cause I could feel, you know, that actually touching me.
Mm.
But anyway, so 3 weeks later, I'm on my way to India, and I get myself settled on the airplane, and I've been about over 50 times, and I always have Baba there with me on this trip. But now it's Baba and Mara right there in front of me. And then I realized what Mara was telling me in this dream is, you know, when I was physically on earth, you weren't allowed to touch me, but that doesn't pertain to now. Because I had always put Mara in a place separate from Baba. I just, somehow there was an inhibition. So she just blew all that away. So now I have Baba and Mara together in my inner sight, without worrying about embracing her or touching her. So that was more of a recent dream. So that's it, you know. But but people here have tremendous dreams coming to the center. But I will pass on that.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah.
All right, up next we have Marion.
Oh, hi. I don't think it was on the chat. There was not long ago, I told my dream about my wild bear, but I didn't feel like I want to say that right now tonight or share that was a dream. But something happened today. It was not a dream, but it was kind of a magical moment. I'd like to share that. Okay.
Yeah.
I live in New York City, and there's something that I've been participating in once a month. It's called Walk with a Doc. And it's from one of the hospitals, and we all walk with the doctor all down around the streets and along the shore and all. And it's wonderful. And it's now catching on nationwide, this Walk with the Doc series. So I wanted to get there on time, and it's quite a trip from where I live to go all the way over to the other side of New York City, downtown further. So I was kind of nervous about being there on time. I had to take a subway and then a bus, and I tended to, and I was told by a spiritual teacher in this life, the one emotion that really carried with me that was kind of negative was fear. I tend to go very quickly to fear. And so I was getting ready to go, and I'm very watchful about that. And I was feeling my anxiety about being there on time and all that. And then I caught it. I was going to fear. So I told Baba, and I go by the instruction inwardly. My first step of transformation is observation. First, be my observer, and that means being with Baba. So I told Baba, I'm having all this fear about being there on time and not being late and all that. So I pray to turn it into excitement. fear to excitement. So I kept, and then I'd go back into the fear again. I'm getting ready and I'm getting all nervous. And I'd take a breath and I'd open up to the excitement of going and being grounded. So I leave my apartment. I hope you can see this when I show it on my phone. So I leave my apartment and I'm going up my street. And sometimes if my mind chatter is too loud, saying Baba's name is not enough. I need to sing Baba's name to a tune. Like Baba, 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 Baba. And that really will shift that mind chatter really out of the way rather than my just saying Baba, Baba, Baba. So I got the song going and I'm walking down my side street and I'm heading toward toward Broadway, one of the major streets. And I look up, I have never seen this before in my life. I look up at the traffic light and there's a poster up there. I've never seen one of these. Now I've seen several of them. I put it on my phone. I don't know if you can see it, but it's a man with a beard and a hat on. And it says, I don't know if this is, so I'm walking and I'm singing Baba's name and I'm walking. Let's see, it's hard for me to find my cursor here. And it's a big sign that says, Messiah is here. And I look up at the crosswalk. I'm getting ready with all this traffic to go across. And there's this big sign, Messiah is here. Well, I laughed. I felt it was Baba's, is that who it is? Rabbi Schneerson, is that who that is, Tony? I don't know who it was. I've never seen this before. And I've thought I'd seen everything in my neighborhood. And now I've seen a few of these around on the traffic lights. It's up high, like it's way up, about 10, 11 feet high. It's not eye level. And I had to laugh because I felt it was Baba's sense of humor as I was, doing my best to, turn fear into excitement. And then I see that Messiah's here. And I said, okay, Baba, I get it. I get it. You're with me every moment, helping me, protecting me. So I just wanted to share that today because it was such a fun thing to have happen.
Okay, Baba.
That was great, Marion. Thank you. That was really good.
Thank you, Marion. All right, and Shri.
I've actually never gotten a Baba dream. I've, in weird ways, kind of gotten the opposite, which is like grew up very Hindu. So like Ram and Krishna were big influences in my life. And also like my family prayed to them, but from like a Hindu sense and not from the perspective that Baba was also them. But in those like stories that you learn in like the Hindu school version of like CCD, there's always like the demons and stuff that Ram and Krishna slayed when they were on Earth. And so when I was little, I used to get nightmares about the demons, but not any dreams about the gods. But as a person, I have a lot of trouble sleeping usually. Like I don't sleep very well. It takes me a really long time to fall asleep normally. And I'm a very light sleeper, so anything will wake me up. And I remember though, when I came to the center for the first time last summer, I was in Cabin on the Hill, and there's this one picture so like Cabin on the Hill has two kind of rooms. So my brother was in a room and I was in one room. And in the room that's on the left when you enter, there's a picture of Baba, but it kind of like, it like unsettled me in a way for some reason. And not to call him creepy, but that picture is like really intense. And you think about him just like staring at you when you're sleeping. And I'm sure I can find the picture if I Google it and I can show you guys later. But I got there and I was kind of just like, it was my first time at the center. And in the summer, the center has these like giant spiders that really threw me off. And I was kind of just like, I was super happy to be there, but it was super hot. And I was like, I don't think I'm going to sleep very well tonight, which was fine. Like that wasn't my biggest concern because I was just happy to be there. But I remember that night going to sleep, a normal night, I had like the most vivid, like blissful dreams I've ever had. And they didn't have anything to do with Baba, but it was literally like, in a cartoon when they'll show someone dreaming and it's like bunnies hopping through fields and like angels singing and sunlight. And it was literally that. And I had never experienced anything like it in my life. And even that morning when the sun was shining through the cabin, it didn't wake me up like the sun normally, like here in my apartment, I get like a tiny bit of sun and it'll wake me up in the morning. There, like all the windows were open. I was like flooded with sunlight, didn't wake me up at all. Instead, like the sun kind of just like played into the dream. I swear I heard like music as I was sleeping. And I just thought that was interesting. I don't know why that happened. I've never had a dream like it. I've never had a dream like that since. But I was very confident that there had to be some coincidence between getting like sleep at the center and kind of, I think Jeff, you mentioned this before, but the veil of Maya is a lot thinner at the center, and therefore I think you can let your guard down as a human a lot more. And I think in general, you're just less scared and anxious of life or whatever than you might normally be. But I missed that sleep. It was really good sleep, and I just haven't had it like that ever since.
Was it only one night?
Yeah, I think the second night I was just super exhausted and we were leaving the following morning, but we were only there for 2 nights.
Well, didn't Baba stay in Cabin on, wasn't that built for Baba originally, Jeff? Cabin on the
Yeah.
Hill? Yeah, Baba
Originally.
stayed there. Maybe that's why you slept so well.
Yeah, maybe.
You just really have to come again,
Yeah,
I know.
get
Milk
those
it.
good
I'm
dreams.
coming this summer, so
Oh, good, good.
yes.
Beautiful.
All right. Josh.
Oh, no, you forgot Tony there.
Oh yeah, Tony, Mr. Effort and Grace. How could I forget you? You're hiding in the corner of my screen. All right, yeah,
Yes.
Tony.
I'm in a key position in the corner on my screen, but anyway, I've had tons of Baba dreams, mostly in the 70s, like Jeff, and some Mandali dreams. But since you've introduced me as Mr. Effort and Grace, and it's been dogging me at these chats, and I like Darwin's book. I've read it twice, but what happens there doesn't speak to me. But I miss my friends and I miss the Baba feeling. So I will often log in without the camera and without offering participation, but just and sometimes I'm in and out of the room. But anyway, and suddenly someone had a problem with that this last Sunday that I was not speaking up. And I thought about it a bit, and I suddenly remembered a dream I had of Mani, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. And I don't remember all of it. It's written down somewhere. And then she comes and sits by me on it's either bus or an Indian train. And she stresses to me, your real name is Grace. Your name is Grace. Your real name is Grace. And I had to accept because Mani was really making a point of it. So, I mean, I think I've kind of got internally, I've got the effort and grace going on.
Yeah.
Anyway, and there was a dream of Kenmore in the early days. He was blazing a trail through a mountain on fire. What is it? Sometimes, all right, I can't even read my own notes. I couldn't mention all of my Baba dreams, but sometimes it also happens that I feel Baba has physically appeared, and it happened the first time with a taxi driver taking me back from the UN at a time where clearly Baba wanted me to be kept on there. I was on a short-term contract, and there was competition, and I didn't want to get involved with it. And then I had this cab driver, and after I went home, I realized, oh my God, that was Baba. I'm not going to tell the whole story. Last summer, 3 decades later, a fellow came to repair my ever-dying air conditioners, to install yet another air conditioner. And on his last visit, he started asking about Baba. There was something about him all of a sudden. And then he started asking about Baba, and he was not satisfied until I gave the answer that Baba was the Christ, was God in human form. And I feel he was Baba, and we never saw him again. And today, my daughter Elena has been in the hospital since Monday night, and since Monday, and they just came home. That means her mom is with her there, and they just came home today, and they were supposed to get an ambulance. She couldn't walk. That's the reason. For some reason, she suddenly would not walk. And there was clearly some injury, and they found nothing, even with an MRI of her spine. And then today she took some steps, so they sent her home. But we needed an ambulette so they could carry her up the stairs. She can't walk up the stairs so easily now. And word finally came, they were supposed to come at 2, and word came that they weren't going to be able to come till around 11 or midnight. And only one of them would be able to help carry Elena up. And then out of the blue, some ambulance service, either they called them or they called the hospital, and they said, oh, we can do that, and we can do it right now. And yeah, we have no problem carrying Elena up the stairs in a chair. And they came, and that's Elena and Zeke back from the hospital, and they were the most wonderful people. They're nothing extravagantly wonderful, but there was an instant like heart connection, and they were so loving. And just like the air conditioner guy, this fellow Luis, his name was, came out to shake my hand. And I shook his hand, and I shook Evelyn's hand, the young woman who was with him. They were both youngish. Well, I must have shaken their hands about 5 or 6 times in the period they were here. And finally, when they were leaving, I said, talked about something about marriage came up. And I mentioned that Zeke and I had been married for 25 years this past February. And I said, at some point I said, and I was the lucky one in that deal. I not only got Zeke, but I got Elena. And I said, if you see her now when she's so wild, you wouldn't get it, but she's got this quality. She said, and Evelyn said, she's a beautiful soul. And she could see through all. Elena was raucous, and she could see through it all. And again, I said, I feel so touched meeting you. They were so unique. I don't. And then the fellow again, I put out his hand to shake mine, and I shook his. And I guess I went too quickly to shake Evelyn's hand because I sensed her saying, "No, he's the one whose hand you want to shake." And it didn't register to me till after they had gone, and I was reliving it, and I'm getting goosebumps of that feeling of Baba's presence. So either it was Baba or someone that Baba came through or sent. My guess it was Baba and an angel, or who knows, even maybe Mera, because they were like one person in a way. So those aren't dreams, but I just didn't want to tell. I've got all these Baba dreams. And sometimes Baba gives dreams that he's not in. It's a dream that he's given, but he's not in it. And maybe I'll come back later. I have one wonderful dream like that I worked on and got a big lesson from this week, but maybe I'll come back after some more people speak. So
thank you, Tony. All right, next up we have Josh.
Yeah, I definitely relate with Tony where there's some people that I think, I don't know what it is, but I sense a Baba energy about them. It's really cool when I meet people like that. It's quite rare. And often they're not Baba lovers, which is ironic. But yeah, I also relate with Sri having dreams of demons and monsters. I've had quite a lot of those dreams, and ever since a child, I've had dreams like that. I've got a couple of friends that also have dreams like that. And it was interesting. I was once staying at Avatar's abode in Queensland, Australia, which is sort of like the main big Baba center in Australia. And I was having one such dream, and it was just like, there was like this nightmarish presence and it was terrible. It was very scary. And then but then I got a text in real life, and it woke me up from the dream, right? And so I was so happy because it was like I was broken up from a nightmare. And I was like, cool. And then I pretty much went straight back to sleep. And in the dream, I went into the dream. Again, I went into a dream, but it was a nicer dream. It was a much better dream. It was rolling green hills. But I actually still remember that I'd gotten a text. So I looked at my phone in my dream, and the text was from Barbara in the dream, and it said, what did it say? It said something like, "I'm responsible for your spiritual protection," and so it felt like a very powerful statement. And now whenever I'm having like a nightmarish dream or something like that, I just try and think about Barbara. But yeah, it was really cool. In real life, it was just a text from like a telco or something, some irrelevant text. But yeah, in stream, it was important. Yeah, and it's really cool. It's well, it is interesting, because yeah, there's capacity in some of my dreams to sort of have this feeling that's far beyond like a feeling that I can have when I'm more physical. It can be more real than real life at times. Just because, and I remember feeling exquisite forms of love from Barbara in these dreams, and it's just really incredible. It's just yeah, very incredible. And I think he talks about how how the gross body actually sort of dampens our capacity to feel things, and that when we're out of it, we actually have a greater capacity. But so yeah, it's definitely cool. It's yeah, I was just wanting to share that. But yeah.
Thank you, Josh. J.
Yeah.
Bob.
Can I say something, Peter?
Yes, Marta.
I just wanted to say, Josh, I find it entertaining that Baba came in a text, a sign of the times. Now, I would be surprised if I got Baba in a text in my dream, but it's so perfect for you guys that Baba sent you a message in a text. I just love it. And what was the message again? It was really powerful.
Yeah, I'm responsible for your spiritual protection.
Wow.
And
That's
it's perfect because really, the alphabet board, just transitioning
Yeah.
from the alphabet board to, texting, it's quite easy for Barbara.
That's great. That's great. Did you feel like that? Did you feel something from that message personally? Or did you just was it over here and you were watching it?
I could feel it. It wasn't like super incredibly powerful,
Mhm.
like some of the other times. Like there was another time when I was climbing this mountain made of sort of like sand. It was this very steep mountain of sand, so it was very difficult to climb. And I was carrying fresh water from a thunderstorm, right? And I think I knew I had to take that to the top of the mountain for Barbara or something. And I was climbing it, and it was very hard and it was very difficult. And I got so thirsty whilst I was climbing it, and I was so tempted to drink the water myself, but I chose not to, and I pushed on, and I got to the top, and Barbara was there, and he was so proud, and he took the water, and he washed me on the head, like he washed the musts and stuff like that. And that
Wow.
had a very strong spiritual connection, like I was really feeling it. But yeah, but I do feel that was a powerful dream, and so I'm definitely not worried about coming in contact with spooky monsters in my dreams, which I actually do. I that yeah, there are some, and I have since I was a child. I've got other Barb lover friends that also have this, but yeah, just really creepy things are out there that go bump in the night sometimes, and but yeah, so now just using Barbara is my shield, and it works, and then I often wake up, when they're just about to try and grab me. So yeah. Yep.
All right, J. Baba, thank you. Up next we have Marsha.
When I was really young, I had a dream, and it was at the time that Baba was. I'm assuming now. I didn't know at the time that. I think that's when Baba came to Chicago, and he rode up and down the highway and took the L. But I dreamt that I was like flying in the air, and somebody was holding my hand, and we were up in the sky over the ocean or the lake, and far in the distance was like the Taj Mahal or a temple. And then years later, I realized, hey, I think that was when he was passing through. He stopped by and took me up for a flight. So I'll never forget that. And then one time when I was leaving the center, and I couldn't remember where I saw this until just now when I've been here such a long time, but I was driving in a car to leave to go to the airport, heading towards the gateway. And when I looked into the woods, he was in a convertible, a big convertible, standing up and waving like a red convertible. And I couldn't make out if it really, I thought, oh, it was a dream, but I think it was very real. And then most recently, I moved to Vernon Hills, and there's a lake in the shape of what do you call infinity? And there would be a man that would always come by, talking about Jesus. And I always said to myself, well, I don't have to listen to him because I'm into Baba. And last spring, he ran into me, and he had a young boy with him, and he looked just like Jesus. And he touched me, and he said, oh, you're healed, right? And I said, oh, okay. And then when I came here this time, I said, wow, that was really Baba, I'm pretty sure, but I don't know, it's like, okay, those are my dreams. Yeah. Anyway, today I missed the other day I was supposed to leave the center, and I came out to Jackie's, and I was here all packed up to go. And then the gentleman was supposed to come pick up my car, and he went back to the old address. They didn't check that I gave him a new address to pick me up. So I was delayed because he went to Galleria Kroger in, Myrtle Beach, and I was waiting for him in North Myrtle Beach. So I got to the airport, and I didn't really want to leave because I wanted to be here. I didn't want to leave. I felt like I'd been so tired from packing, and in my mind, I knew I wasn't going to leave. But yesterday I got a text from the airline asking me if I wanted to bid on a seat. They asked me if I wanted to bid on a seat to give up my seat and put a bid, and then I could get another flight. But I had to go to the airport to do that. So I said, no, I'm not going to do that. Right. So today not today, but Wednesday, I got to the airport, and the plane had boarded, and they said, oh, that's the last flight. You can't get on the flight because you can't put your luggage on. And I was going to have to be in Newark, New Jersey for hours. And so there was this lady, this is the kicker, there was a lady, 80 years old by the counter. There was no one else around. The airport was deserted. And I said, I'm supposed to go to Chicago. She says, well, you can't go, And I looked at her, and she said, well, I'll take care of you. And so she offered me a flight the next day. And I said, do you have any nonstop flights? And she said, oh yeah, we can take you on Saturday during the day. And it's 2 hours instead of being all day. So it's like a gift. And then she told me she was an airline mechanic, and she was like in her 80s. You ever see a person in their 80s being a receptionist at the airport? It was so bizarre. It was all Bob. It was like such a big show. It was like unbelievable, and then I was getting leg cramps, so I would have been tortured on the flight. And I was so happy because now I don't have to go home till Saturday. I keep extending my stay. So it's all Baba, he's a jokester, I'll tell you. Okay.
Marcia, I can't keep track of you. Every time I hear you on the screen, you're still in Myrtle Beach. It seems like I thought you just lived there now. Every time I hear you, you're still in Myrtle Beach.
No, I'm going home Saturday just in time for spring.
Yeah.
I'll get another spring and plant my garden and see my friends. And there's people that want me to come back, but I was thinking, God, I'd love to get on the plane and go with the people that are going to Italy. I'm thinking, no, you can't do that. Don't shirk your responsibility, right? But I've got all my baggage is gone. My car arrived in one day. The guy, and then you want to hear another funny story? These are just funny, just things that happened to me. So the guy that came for the truck, right? We're at the Kroger gas station, and he comes out, and he was upset because I'm going to leave without you, without your car. And I'm like, oh, okay. I said, no, you can't, because I have to go home, And so I was going to drive, and I said, I'll drive over there. He said, no, I'll come. So he comes, and he's taking pictures of my car, and I'm looking at him. He's young and kind of really cute, And then I look, and he's got sandals on his feet, and I sign away my car. He gets in my car and drives off, and I look, and there's no truck, right? And the lady at the gas station runs over to me, and she said, he drove off. And I said, yeah. And I trusted him. I didn't even think to look why he didn't have a truck. So she planted the seed in me that I should call the police right away, And I thought, well, that's really screwy. What if he didn't really steal the car? So I panicked, and Jackie was going to pick me up. So I'm sitting here at the Kroger. Oh, my car's going. I said, you know what? That would be a gift. I'd get rid of all of it and I could get a new car. And I said, I didn't even care about the car anymore. So I've gone through all these changes here. But the funny part was, so I sat down and I'm looking for the email and I feel this fear creeping in because we're talking about what happens when you have fear, And I said, this is Bob playing his trickster on me. And so I looked for the original thing and I texted him and I said, I don't want to report this to the police, but somebody told me to. But did the guy really pick up my car? And they said, yeah, we have pictures of it. So I was pretty happy. But you could see how if you don't stop things right away, how that little teeny thing can grow into a monster. So like before I left, 2 days before, I'm sitting in the cabin sleeping and I wake up because God wakes me up with a leg cramp when he wants me to get out of bed. I get this leg cramp and I said, oh my God, I got stuff in the condo because I didn't get it all, and I got stuff in the center. I'm packing up a car and everything's thrown in. And then I had to call Jeff to help me because I couldn't even fit the dog in the car. So I said, okay, what am I going to do now? Oh, call Jackie. So she came and I had to stay there too bad. I got to stay there all day in the Hermitage because I had nowhere to go. So I got to stay on the Hermitage porch, which was quite nice for me. So I said, Bob, I really gave me the best of three worlds, but he tortures me every day. And then at night I go to bed and I'm saying, okay, what's happening next, right? But the funny story, so I get to her house and then I didn't get picked up with the car. And then all of a sudden she's having a workshop and I'm in this workshop with people that I see on Zoom all the time. And they're in another room. And I just said, I got to go do my Baba stuff, because they're more into Jesus stuff. So it's just been I would say that my experience here has been like, I had a blockage, I always had something that was keeping me from being free. And during this experience, it's like taken away my fears, everything. He's really true, and I've been giving away artwork that I was detached to. And it's like funny, like passing out artwork and not caring about losing it anymore or giving it away. So it's been like a blessing, but it's a kick and a kiss, 2 steps up and 1 step back. It's true. Everything is true about Baba.
Jay Baba, thank you, Marcia. And Tony.
I figured I may come back with that other dream. I've been in love with dreams since I was pretty young. I mean, in 1970, 71, 70, 71, I had a dream. I won't say the situation that triggered it, but in the dream, I'm in the driveway of my neighbors. We had adjoining houses. My friends lived in adjoining houses, and there was a big bull. I mean, it was such a big, so much bull. And I was wrestling with this bull. And I finally got it down to the ground and I grabbed the bull by the horns. And there was a unique little pattern in the bull's ear. And I woke up. The situation that had triggered this was basically a lot of bull. It was a lot of bull in that situation. And the thing that was in the horn connected it directly to that situation. And it was clear the dream was saying, listen, take the bull by the horns here, instead of, because I was pretending that, no, it's fine, it's fine. All right. So ever since then, I've been thrilled with dreams. I've worked with them. I've worked with the Jungian approach to dreams. And a few weeks ago, I saw an astrologer acquaintance of mine on YouTube, and he's doing some workshop in a week or so. And he's an old guy, very well known. And he said that now his clients tend to see him, say, every month, and it's more of a therapy type thing. And he mentioned that he was in therapy with this person who informed this method of his. And I heard Baba calling in this, and I wrote down the guy's name. It was Robert Langs, MD. And I got 2 of his books, and they spoke nothing to me. And then I saw one called Decoding Your Dreams. And this fella had a method of dreams decoding that I started to use a week ago. And this was the dream. Basically, he says you free associate with it, but to decode it, you have to connect with the situation that triggered it in your waking life. So I've been working with Baba for decades on this seeming um, resistance I have, desire and resistance to getting my. Baba's given me a lot of creative gifts, a lot, and and between getting it out, putting it out there, and not putting it out there. And I've been in my quiet time with Baba. I've been saying, Baba, I surrender this issue to you. I surrender this issue to you because it's totally. I just run in circles with the same mental process. So I had a dream. I'm in this on the ground floor. It's kind of a store, a storefront, and it's a very busy city atmosphere. It's like New York in the 1930s. Lots of people outside bustling around, and apparently I worked in this storeroom, in this showroom, and I was leaving for something new, and there were some Baba people there, and there was an actor friend who all I knew about him, apart from acting, is his wife died recently and how much love was at the center of his life. So, uh, ooh, bear with me, sorry. Um, but there was a rug that had to be rolled up, and so a carpet. And I rolled up this carpet before I could leave. And in real life, we had had a flood in our basement a few weeks ago, and the Persian carpet got completely waterlogged. And Zeke and I had to carry it out to the street, and I hurt my back doing it. It was so. In this dream, I come out, and this actor friend, I asked him, "Where is the service station? I'm going to the service station. I have to get my car or something. I need to go to the service station. Where is it?" And he tells me again what other people said. It's just down the block here. And so that's where I'm going to go. And he does, how people do this on Zoom sessions, like to express love for something you're doing or something you've said. They make a heart. Well, he made one like with his whole body. And I get down the block. There's no service station. I go up to the second floor. There's another mall, and that's not it. And I look then out this big glass window, and I see lined up along the curve all of these jet black cars, which I associate with the self archetype. But a service station doesn't put out a fleet of cars, they repair cars. What it turned out to be, as I associated through the dream, it suddenly became so obvious. The place where I was leaving, that I'd spent so much energy and had invested so much emotion in, that's all the waterlogged carpet, was approaching my gifts as a showroom, like selling myself, looking to have people to form a persona, and people will say that's an actor or that's and that was the block because something in me was against that. The service center turned out to be the place where you use your gifts to serve. I mean, the dream had to kind of interpret it in a way like that so that I could hear it, and the point was, yes, Baba does want you to put all these things out once you get all of it out, but not to show that you're a great artist or something, but because can be an act of service to your community, to your friends, to the people in the world. And I feel like a door has been opened. And at 70, it's good that it didn't take any longer than this. But and I definitely felt that was the result of Baba working with me in this issue that I was turning over to him. And one other thing was, in the next block, while everything was so bustling in this city area, the next block was tall buildings, but everything was barren. And I've had many dreams like that of being in a barren wasteland. And far from thinking that it's a threat to me, which I used to, it's like this is something in my psyche that I need to open up and see what it's about, because my dreams are trying to tell me something when they give me a dream like that. And I knew that I had to get to the service center, not try to go further down that road, because that was like a blind alley. Right. So I consider that a dream from Baba, not of Baba, but from
Jay Baba, thank you, Tony. Um, I was wondering, possibly, to close it out just in a little bit, do you have any songs that come to mind that maybe you wrote after a dream or that are dream-like? Or if you do, maybe in a little bit we could close that out with that. I have a dream I'd like to share. This was like years ago. I was around like 8 or 9, living in Pennsylvania at that time in Strasburg, Pennsylvania, and Baba, I had a dream of Baba that he appeared to me in the dream. He had like a ponytail in the dream with like his long ponytail, and he had his alphabet board as well. And I sort of remember Mara as well in the dream, but I remember as a kid I asked Baba, like, Baba, how are you in so many places? Like, how are you all over the world and you're only one person? How is that, Baba? Like, and I remember he said something about like my love is so vast or so so big that I something about like I live in within in each heart or something like that. But it had a impact on me, and I was like woke up and it was like I was so excited that I saw him in the dream. Um, so, but yeah, that was years ago. Um, yes, Tony, perfect. You have your guitar.
Hey,
We'd love to
Tony,
hear a
you
song.
sing Dream.
I was thinking that
Dream,
song.
dream, dream.
Yes, Dream.
This is the one that came to mind. It's not from a dream, but it was sort of integral to the climax of my coming to Baba story 10 years later, um, in which there were many Baba dreams along the way. This is not specifically about a dream. If I could write a song that would melt your heart, I would sing it right now, that we are far apart. If I could write a song that would win your trust, I would sing it right now. I will, because I must. You've been my memory, long as I've been alive. You've been the only one I see. You keep me alive. If I could write a play, I'd have it end with you each and every day till our lives are through. 'Cause you've been my memory, long as I've been alive. You've been the only one I see. You keep me alive. If I could write a song that would melt your heart, I would sing it right now, that we are far apart, to heal two broken hearts. Do 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 do. Hey, Baba.
Jay Baba. Wow, beautiful song. Um, I
Wow.
not so long ago. Today is actually National Prayer Day. I saw that in social media. So I was thinking, unless anyone has any other quick share that they'd like to share on dreams or even any other song or poem or whatnot, um, we should all end with beloved God prayer. I see Dinku has her hand up. Dinku from India. I guess it's morning. Good morning, Dinku. Dinku, are you there? Maybe the reception is bad. Dinku,
There's a major solar eclipse going on now.
Can you hear me now?
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
we hear
yes,
you,
we
Dinku.
can hear you, Dinku.
Okay. No, it's a question, sort of a question. I don't normally dream of Baba, but a couple of nights ago, I know when I woke up that I did dream. Baba was in my dream somehow, somewhere. And I've been trying to recollect what that dream was, but I just can't. So do you think it was a figment of my imagination in that dream, or
Nope.
could it have been some sort of a significance, but I wasn't supposed to remember it?
People that happens to some people that they know they've dreamt of Baba, but they can't remember the dream. But his visitation in your life can't help but have deep, a deep beneficial effect for sure. You know.
I just remembered one more dream. I was in a building.
You're muted.
I was in a
Thank you,
building.
Jeff.
I was in a building, a house like a tower, and I was coming down the stairs. And when I got to the bottom of the stairs, I opened up the door, and he came through the door, and just walked up the stairs. And I was sure it was him. In the dream, I thought it was a dream. But so you think mostly when we're dreaming, it's really him, or is it a dream? Who knows? I don't know. Yeah,
It's Baba.
yeah.
Yeah.
He said, when you
As
dream
I
of me,
said,
it's not a dream, but a vision.
Yeah, because as I said earlier, you'd think I would be dreaming of Baba with all of this Baba stimulus around. It's too rare. It's it's not like it's not like a regular dream where, like I say, you know you the dream is made up of whatever happened during the day or something. It's just rare, very
But
rare.
if you're always in touch with him, I don't think he has the need to give you the dream to spur your enthusiastic attention.
Yeah.
You're totally immersed in this Baba world by the work that you do there, and having that contact with all the Mandalay and the people that come through from everywhere. You're like, you're a miracle. We really appreciate you.
Oh, well,
You're a
thank
gift.
you.
Yeah.
It's thank Baba that he has no taste.
Also, Dinku, a technique that works is when you're going to sleep, try and remember the dream when you're sort of just going to sleep again, because then that sort of, as your brain is transitioning from waking to dreaming, it's actually easier to remember other dreams. But it could be that you're not meant to remember, and it was just a beautiful visitation. But that's a technique that
Also, to keep a pad, this I used to do years ago, but keep a pad by your bedside. And when you wake up, if it's a really significant dream, and even if it's 4 in the morning, I'll put on a little light and write it out. I used to anyway. Because otherwise it gets lost. Your conscious mind covers it over. But if you grab it right away, you'd be surprised what you find.
Well, thanks, Josh and Tony.
And the next time I see all you guys, I'll be back home. I'm ready to go home. Right? It's like, yeah,
She says
it'll be
that, but
fun.
she'll still be in.
I end
Miller.
up being here forever. No.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to share?
Just a question, Peter. What happened to Margie tonight?
I mentioned at the beginning, she had a really long week and she was really tired. She wanted to get a little more rest and catch up on sleep, and
Oh, that's good.
self-care is important. So she sends her love to everyone, and she will definitely be on next week, Baba willing. If anyone if no one has anything else they'd like to share, I think since today is National Prayer Day, we should definitely end with beloved God prayer. And
Unless you want to play a song.
Not
No.
not really feeling it tonight.
Okay, I
Maybe
tried.
next week I'll play a song. Tony, your song was so beautiful though. Loved
Yeah.
it. Really, and I love the way you sing with all your heart and soul into it.
You used to listen to my song tape when you were really little,
I
and
did. I
your mom
really
would tell
did.
me, and I was an old tape, and then they lost it, and you would ask, they would play the new tape for you of someone else or something, and you would say, "I want the old Tony."
I
Feel
vaguely
honored
remember.
to
I
have
vaguely
helped
remember that. Yep.
helped me inspire you.
Back when they had actual tapes. Now like everything's all streamed and CDs and uh,
Now you really have the old Tony.
Really old.
Okay, beloved God prayer, because we gotta go to sleep.
beloved
Beloved
Dear
God,
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 help
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 me
us
us
all
all
to
Love
love
to
you
love
more
more
you
and more and
more
more and still yet
and
more. We
more,
become
and
worthy of
still
still
you.
yet
yet
more,
more
till we become
Help us
worthy of
all to
become
being
become
worthy of
worthy
you
Daman
with
of
you.
you, and
until the
help us
very
all
end.
help
to
us
keep
all
To hold
to
to the
hold
fast
very end.
fast
to
Baba's
Baba's
Daman
Daman
Steadfast to die by
Till
the
the
very
very
end.
until the very end.
of
Avatar Mere
Avatar
Baba
Mer
Kije.
Avatar Mer
Baba
Baba
Avatar Mere
Ki
Baba
Avatar
Jai.
Meher
Kije.
Baba Ki
Avatar
Jai.
Mer
Mer
Avatar
Baba
Baba
Mere
Ki
Baba
Jai.
Jai.
Kije.
Mer
Avatar Mer Baba
Mer
Avatar Meher
Baba
Jai.
Baba Ki
Jai.
Jai.
And
day.
and only God could hear his prayer through all those
I know.
Yes.
years.